young man fell in love with a girl from a wealthy family and proposed to her, but her family did not agree to the difference in the financial situation. But the young man insisted to prove himself to her parents, so he worked hard and applied again and proved to her family that. So they knew that the young man is serious. So they agreed to the engagement, but the marriage he was postponed because he was a soldier in the army and had to move away from his country because of the war, and they agreed that he would return after the war to consummate the marriage. One day, tragedy struck. Where the girl was driving her car back home, she was hit by a speeding car, so the girl's family rushed to the hospital, and the girl came out of danger, and when she woke up, she noticed signs of stunned and shocked, and their silence continued with only crying. So she started asking moans and pain and felt her face and realized what happened. And I understood that her face was completely disfigured, so she began to cry, and began to say things like, "I became ugly, I became a monster," and wept bitterly. The girl controlled herself again, and told her parents that she wanted to end her relationship with the young man because he would not want her while she was distorted, and she made the decision to do so and did not want to see him again and began to act accordingly. But he kept texting and calling her by phone, but she did not answer any of that. So he understood that she wanted to get away from him and leave him, but one day the surprise happened, so her mother entered her room and said to her, "He came back from the war." The girl was surprised, and refused to meet him before she knew why he came. So her mother said to her, "He came to invite you to his wedding party. Would you marry me?" So the girl covered her face and said to him, "I am ugly and hateful, how will you relate to me?" So he said to her, "When you did not answer, I contacted your mother and saw your picture, but despite that nothing changed in my heart for you, because I loved you and not your face." Through love there was a man named Warzam, and this man was married to a woman he loved so much called Maria, and one day the wife was doing her morning sport and jogging near the hill in the village they live in, and she fell and was seriously injured and called her husband to save her, but here the disaster happened. The hospital was very far, and if they wanted to reach him, they had to go around the hill, but his wife could not stand it and died. Wassam was shocked a lot, and in honor of her, he decided to dig a road across the hill that connects directly between his village and the city and name it after it. He did not reduce his resolve or discourage him, but on the contrary, it increased his determination. So he worked on digging the road for 22 years until he finished it and fulfilled his dream and named it after his wife Maria. Loyal old man. One day, an old man went to a doctor's clinic to untie stitches in his foot after he had an accident. The doctor arrived at his clinic at 10 in the morning. The old man entered the doctor in a hurry, asking the doctor to remove them quickly, so the doctor asked him, "Why are you in such a hurry?" The old man said to him, "I have an important appointment with my wife in the nursing home at 10:30. The doctor asked him, "Why is your wife in the nursing home?" He said to him, "She doesn't remember me, she has Alzheimer's disease and can't remember anything, so she doesn't live with me." So the doctor asked him, "And would you get angry if I was late?" The man cried and said, "I hope she remembers me, but she hasn't for years." So the doctor was surprised and asked, "Then why do you visit her when she doesn't remember you?" The old man replied, "My son, if she does not remember me, I still do." The sacrificial lover. There was a young man and a girl working together in a chemical laboratory, and they loved each other very much. So they spent with each other a long time. And one day the young man went to the jewelry store to bring his girlfriend a wedding ring and surprised her with that. But his joy was not complete. On the same day she is doing a test using a chemical substance, and the substance fell from it and touched her eyes. And when she was taken to the hospital, the doctors said that she had lost her eyes and would go blind. But someone donated his eyes to her with the desire not to mention his name. So the girl recovered and was discharged from the hospital, and in the meantime the young man completely disappeared from her life. So I kept looking for him until I discovered his presence in a specific place. So I went to him, and when I approached him he did not move a finger, and he was wearing glasses and crying with burning, and when she called him, he was soothed. Surprised that she was in the place and tried to pretend not to cry, and then the surprise was that I discovered that he was the one who donated his eyes to her, and started crying and told him of her longing for him and how much she was looking for. Then they married and lived a good life. Was the article helpful? Yes, no.